मेरे सपनों की रानी कब आएगी तू, आए रुत मस्तानी कब आएगी तू, बीती जाए जिंदगानी कब आएगी तू, चलिया तू चलिया.
Hello and welcome to Candid Conversation. Joining me this evening is someone who is truly a woman of substance and a legendary actress, the most beautiful and gorgeous Sharmila Tagore. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you.
Ma'am, my first question to you. You are a woman who is an inspiration for all of us. You come from a Bengali family. You're a great grandniece of Sri Ravindranath Tagore. Ma'am, tell us about your journey. Was it easy for you to become an actress? You always dreamt of becoming one?
Not really. You know, I worked, I don't know, now I've worked in so many films and I've done so many interviews. I think a lot of people know a lot about me. I started work, as you know, with Satyajit Ray, and my first film was called Opur Shangshar, World of Apu.
It was a Bengali movie.
Bengali film, and I play a very young girl. He was looking for a very, very young person. It was about child marriage, and you know, those days girls used to get married at a very, very young age. So it's, you know, the story is how this boy goes and the bridegroom turns out to be mad, and if that appointed hour, the Mahurat of that marriage gets postponed, then this girl will not get married again. So, you know, she had to get married, otherwise she would have been destroyed, the family would have been destroyed. Those were the customs then. So Opu, the boy who had just gone to watch the wedding, see the wedding as an invitee, is pressurized, you know, to save the girl. And then he, being a romantic and a writer, etc., he agrees and gets married. So he marries a very, very young girl. So he was looking for this 13-year-old girl. In fact, he had advertised in the papers. And I don't know where he found me. He must have had scouts in front of schools or wherever. Anyway, one day the phone rang and he spoke to my father and he offered me this role. And everybody was over the moon because he was already so respected, you know. And I was quite a precocious 13. I used to read a lot, and I had already seen his earlier films, and I had read the book. So I most certainly wanted to act in it. So he took a screen test and liked me, and that's how it happened. So it was very easy because I didn't really want to, because I was a normal student going to school. Of course, in school I used to take part in dramas and etc. But films was far away, and those days girls from so-called, you know, good families did not come into films. Yeah. You know, we were first generation working girls, so working itself was frowned upon those days. Mm-hmm. You know, in the late 50s, early 60s, it was not you know, women going out to work from good families wasn't really liked. And then working in films, oh my God, that was completely no.
Do you remember your first day on the set?
Absolutely.
How you were nervous?
That's the same question exactly. Soumitra asked me the same question, are you nervous? That was the scene where Opu marries Apurna, that's my name in the film, and brings his bride from the village, she's a village girl, to town, to where he stays. And he stays in a little one-room place, you know, and he's going to enter this room with her. And he is very, very, you know, he's very nervous about what she's going to think about that room. So both of us are standing behind the closed door, you know,
in a room.
So in the foreground is the closed door, and the camera is on the other side with the crew, and we are behind the closed door. And when Manikda, as we call Satyajit Ray, when he says action, Opu would open the door, look at me and say, Esho, come in, and then I come in. That was the shot. So the door was closed, and we were waiting for our instruction.
Okay.
And Soumitra asked me, are you nervous? Exactly what you asked me just now. So I said, no, why should I be nervous? And you know, when you're 13, you take orders from your parents, from your class teachers, everybody tells you what to do. You're instructed to do certain things and you do it. And you don't have any idea of the world and whatever. So there is no, maybe you'll be nervous about your exam or something, or when your house is running, participating some in sports competition.
With the cameras and the lights?
Oh, no, so no, it's no. I mean, again, because maybe Ray was such a wonderful director, he didn't make you nervous. He made me very comfortable. I just felt
at ease.
Completely at ease. And I had read the book. And he had this wonderful way of narrating the scene. But to, as far as you say that remember the scene, it was so uncanny that he chose that particular scene. The first shot was that, like I said, he says, come in. Oppu enters the room, looks at me and says, come in. And I cross the threshold and step inside the room. And then I look around the room, look up and look at the room. That was my first shot, cut excellent, and next shot. But that action of crossing the threshold, and that action, I mean the way Aparna felt, like she had no idea what was there behind the closed door. I had no idea what film was all about.
Okay.
So in a way, my mental condition, age-wise and situation-wise, but exactly the same as Aparna's. Both of us felt that. So, and much later when I saw the film, I was wondering whether Manikda chose that particular film, a particular scene, keeping that in mind, that both of us were entering a new world. This is something that I would. Yeah.
You felt it after watching the movie?
Much later, because at 13 you don't think like that. You think probably when is lunch break and can I have a chocolate, or when can I go home? That sort of normal things. You're not analyzing.
What
anything.
do you feel when you look back at that 13-year-old girl? You remember the scene very nicely.
Yes.
What do you feel? How do you feel? Whatever you did that time was perfect, or you wanted to change certain things in your life?
No,
Had you not been called by Satyajit Ray, your life would have been different, do you feel?
Absolutely, yes. I wanted to go to Shantiniketan and perhaps, dancing or art, painting, because I come from the painter's family. Abanindranath Tagore, Gaganendranath Tagore was my great-grandfather who brought Cubism to India. The Tagores were a very eclectic lot, very hugely influenced by Japanese art, etc. So he was my great-grandfather. So there was, everybody around was creative in some way or the other. So obviously I was going to go to some creative field, but it probably would have been towards painting. I think it's a huge escape that I didn't. I would have been very bad, I'm sure.
But you feel proud that Mr. Satyajit Ray, he changed probably your life
completely. And, Aparna became heartthrob of Bengal, overnight. Remains, 4 generations later, 5 generations later, it's still, it's the most romantic film, really. So Oppu, Aparna were heartthrobs of the nation, and I was inundated with offers, but my father said no. She has to go back and complete her education. And next year, Manikda again asked me to work in Devi, and that remains the most challenging role ever. And I still feel that's my best performance.
You were lucky enough to work with such a big director of the world, I would say. Did you face any problem after doing these 2 movies, from the society or from home front, being a woman, as you said?
I did. The moment I signed Oppu Shangshar, it became public knowledge that I was going to work in Oppu Shangshar. My school objected. The school that I was a good student, I was doing well, but Miss Das, who was the principal of Diocesan School, objected, because she says if she works in film, she'll be a very bad influence on my other girl, despite it was not even a Bollywood film or a commercial. It was working for Satyajit Ray. Even that would have been, she considered that it would be a bad influence on others. So she asked me if she works in the film, she'll have to leave the school, she told my father. And my father, being a Bengali kind of a person, he says, well, in that case, she'll leave your school. And nobody asked me, can you imagine at the age of 13,
Yeah.
I had to leave a Bengali medium school that I was going to, diocesan, and they put me in an English medium school, Loreto, in Asansol, where my father being, he was in a transferable job. So, and I was in Calcutta with my grandparents, which was a great experience, living in a joint family. I think that formed the basis of my entire character. Yeah.
Family support played a very major role.
Sure.
Had your father not supported, probably you wouldn't have been a big actress as you have.
Yes, of course my family was very supportive. Every member of my family, my grandmother and grandfather, and everybody felt very happy and proud that Satyajit Ray had asked me. And in fact, my father said, if she's bad, then don't take her. If she's good, then, don't allow her to. Manida just smiled. And yeah, but the school objective.
How did you come into Hindi movies? You wanted to become an actress after your second movie?
Yes. After all that, after the exposure of these two films, I just loved the profession. I loved the camera. I loved the whole thing, this expressing yourself through the camera, which is, it's a wonderful thing. You really come alive from action to cut. I mean, though that's the moment that all of us live for. But after that, my father insisted that I finish my school and no more distractions. Only Ray was allowed. Even Manida asked me for Kanchenjunga. That was just before my exams.
He was very fond of you.
Yes, he liked Soumitra and I very much. That's why I acted in so many of his films. And he could do everything. He did camera work, editing, wardrobe designing, graphics, titles, music, everything. But one thing he didn't do was act in his own films. So he used Soumitra for that. And for the female character, he liked Madhubi and I.
Ma'am, what was your experience like doing the first movie in Bollywood, Kashmir Ki Kali, with your co-star Shami Kapoor? Can you just share some? Because there's a complete difference from Satyajit Ray's movie, which was an art movie, we would say, to a commercial movie.
After I finished my exams, I wanted to join commercial cinema, and I did. I started working in Bengali cinema. And I did quite a few. I worked with Tapan Sinha, I worked with Ajay Kaur, I worked with many other good directors. And then the offer came from Bombay. And there was a Bengali connection, Shakti Samanta and Sachin Bhaumik.
Yeah.
And my mother was very friendly with Sachin Bhaumik.
How was your first experience with Shami ji? He was a big star at that time already.
Yes, he was a very big star. And he was a very mercurial star. I mean, you never knew what he was going to do. Rehearsal mein kuch, he would do something else, and in the actual take, kuch aur.
Impulsive,
so, yeah, very, very impulsive, and suddenly jumping into the lake, and he was quite a character that way. So it was a lot of fun, and shooting in this beautiful Kashmir. Our first, the film started in Kashmir. We started with the outdoor shooting first. I think it was the month of October, and the first shooting was in near that Dal Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, in Nehru Park. Yeah. It was beautiful, and we shot Gulmarg and Pahalgam and Sonmarg and all kinds of places, and it was lovely songs. And quite some scenes we shot indoors.
You worked with different actors of your time. Who was your favorite?
I don't really, but I've worked in many films and good films with Dharmendra, and we share a birthday. Dharam and I were both born on the 8th
and one of the
December.
best movies is Chupke Chupke.
Chupke Chupke and Satyakam. Satyakam
Yes.
with Rishikesh Mukherjee. It's a very good film, and a wonderful acting part for me and for him. So that was a very good film. And Anupama, that was again a very good film that I worked with him. So, many good films, and also hit films like Yaqeen and Mere Hamdam Mere Dost. So quite a few films.
But your chemistry with Rajesh Khanna was altogether different. Like the most sensuous song till date, I would say Roop Tera Mastana.
My biggest hits.
Without any cheap or vulgarity attached to it.
Rajesh Khanna and my films have really done. Aradhana to broke all records. I think that time, that was the age of pairs, I think, you know. There was Dharmendra and Hema Malini, Sharmila Tagore, Rajesh Khanna, I think Saira Banu, Rajendra Kumar, you know. So that was a kind of fad everybody was going through.
These days we have seen that many actresses, they give up on movies after marriage, especially after they become mothers.
No, it's a division of 24 hours, you know. And marriage and having a child, marriage though it's okay because adult memory is retentive. You don't see each other for 3-4 months and you can still make up for it. You can write to each other. Those days we didn't have cell phones or anything or emails or anything. That you could make up for it. You know, you can talk and write. But child's memory is retentive. And I think that first 5 years is very crucial. Or at least the first 2.5 years is absolutely crucial for a mother to be there. Because if she misses out on those milestones, then somewhere there is a gap between the mother and then that causes problem later. So that is why people don't want to work. But I wanted my cake and have it too. So I was very clear that I wanted a family. I didn't want to not have a family. I didn't want to be completely a career person. And at the same time, I wanted to work. I didn't want to give up work.
That's why I think so, ma'am, you worked Amar Prem, the remarkable, the most beautiful movie.
Amar Prem, Mausam.
Was after you became a mother.
Amar Prem, Mausam, Avishkar also, they've all come afterwards. I mean, I have a lot of films after having Saif also. And it wasn't easy. It was, you know, I mean, I can't give you a magic formula how to do it, except to say that I wanted to. And today my children respect me because I'm a working mother. You know, that's my identity. And I like that. I think, you know, a lot of mothers who don't work, they don't use their time properly. They're either painting their nails or talking on the phone for hours, or they're going shopping, or, you know, having a massage. You know, I'm just being facetious, of course, but I'm saying that a lot of people, but we working mothers use our time very well. So, but of course you can't be in two places at the same time. There can be a crisis at work, there can be a crisis at home. So there is a lot of sacrifice, a lot of anguish, you know,
lots of time management.
Lot of time management and emotion management. Like your son has got fever and, you know, and there's workplace.
Any incident you recall?
Many like that. But you try to do it, and therefore your partner's support is very important. Absolutely. You know, if the partner then blames you, now see, you can't be there, you can't be, but if he steps in and compliments me, you know, we complement each other, then it's possible. But you can't really raise a family single-handed. You can, but it's very difficult. So when I went outdoors, or if I couldn't be somewhere, I knew that Tiger would take care. So he wasn't one of those partners, you know. He gave me space. He respected my individuality. I did the same. So he didn't mind looking after the child. He didn't say that doesn't matter how tired you are, you still, this is your job. You know, the role playing that is so demarcated. Like when we do all these, you know, sometimes we talk to couples, you know, and the husband will talk about many other things, but when we talk about domestic help and, you know, about home, then he'll say, well, talk to my wife, because then that's her department. Yeah. You know, suddenly he'll become very dismissive. But home is your anchor, really. I mean, that is your, it's a very important space. And men sometimes feel they have nothing to do with it, which is, you know, it's up to the woman to create that space that's harmonious as nicely as possible, you know, to create that harmony. But of course a man has to play a role in that.
Very crucial.
Not
role.
just by giving money, but being a part of it. He'll enjoy it. You know, his enjoyment would increase if he also plays an active role. And I think the younger boys today, like my son, I've seen him, you know, when he became a father, when he doesn't, you know, he's very hands-on that way.
This question is from one of my colleagues. It's a question on demand. She wants to know, how are you as a mother-in-law?
Is that a serious question?
I don't.
How can I answer? You have to ask my daughter-in-law for that. It's now quite different. You know, earlier if you know, this mother-in-law, daughter-in-law dialogue or discussions or the concept or whatever you call it, it comes from that the man being the sole earning member of the family. And both the women try to win him over so that he's going to look after them.
Right.
So they both want his support and his attention. And sometimes there is a competition between both of them. So there is a kind of a weight that they carry, and both of them live a little imperfect lives. And everything is, it's never really blamed on the man, it's blamed on external things like horoscopes or, you know. So it's, so that's where it comes from. But now, you know, my daughter-in-law is earning quite well, and so they have a different idea. So, you know, I live in Delhi, they live in Bombay. So so those equations don't really apply. And then the rest is just loving each other, supportive, you know, being supportive and just being, you know, normal human relations.
And I'm sure you feel good that Kareena Kapoor is also working after marriage.
Yes, of
like
course.
You did.
She's a lovely person. She's very calm. You know, really, really nice. She was there when we celebrated my husband's 70th birthday, and then we went through that very crucial time when he was not well. He was in hospital. She was there, and she was just one of us. And then when he passed away, she was very much there, just like one of my daughters. So, you know, when you see that, and there was never that, you know, I am so and so, I want my space. So she just blended in with us, you know. So she's been wonderful, really. And she makes my son very happy.
What do you think about the projection of women in current contemporary Bollywood movies? Do you think there is a sea change from your time to now?
That's a very, it's an important question, and it's also a complex question. In our time, it was, you know, nothing like a good cry. And, you know, there was like most of my roles were like mothers, or like in Amar Prem. She sacrifices almost everything. But to come to your question about today's films, it definitely looks modern. The first half of the film introduces a lot of new concepts. And the women are wearing modern clothes, uses modern language. And like in my time, we were either Miss Deepa or Mr. Arun, you know.
You were the first woman to wear swimming costume.
Yeah, but like we didn't have a surname. Yeah. Because otherwise we wouldn't appeal, you know, sort of pan-Indian. We wanted to keep everybody happy. So if you say Miss Chopra, then you're saying you're coming from a particular place, or Miss Naidu, then you're coming from. So you were always Miss Deepa or Mr. Arun, or, you know, things like that. So that has changed now. Then we didn't have a profession ever. Now people have, but that is really naam ke vaste. It's not like a proper profession. You never, in fact, career women are usually bad, and they, you know, they can't make good wives. And the moment you get engaged to somebody, then you're in a sari. Otherwise, you're wearing modern clothes. But the second half is very traditional still.
You mean to say the new concept is only the first half?
I
but
think
at
so.
the end,
the resolution is always
the same,
pretty conventional and traditional, and not rocking the boat. I feel
any movie
like, see, Dirty
Picture.
You are showing, but then
It's
later,
a biopic.
yeah, but then she becomes a victim.
Yeah.
And
Any movie that
she
appealed
dies.
you?
In Kahani,
Yeah.
which is a really a wonderful film. But then the director subtly feels that मैंने उनको दिखाया, shoot करते हुए, very unfeminine kind of a, when she is shooting this. So then she goes and tells her mentor that the only time I felt real was when I was pretending to be expecting a child. There was absolutely no need for that particular scene. So to bring her femininity across, to show that she's a woman and therefore she's, enjoyed that thing.
Thank you so much.